Boomer Sooner, baby! This is Drop All the Bombs. This week is why we're all Sooner fans. We're taking on the number 5 team in the country, Florida State. It's going to be a challenge. We don't back down from a challenge. I remember when Mac Brown had to play Ohio State in 2005 when they won the national championship. He complained that those games would be played. You know, he looked forward to when he had to play those kind of games anymore. Well, guess what? Oklahoma's not afraid to play these kind of games. Oklahoma's stepping up. We're going to be playing Florida State. At Florida State. Now, yeah, last year we smoked them 47-17. They didn't even have a chance against us. And, in fact, right now I'm actually watching some of the highlights on my screen over there. What happened was, as Florida State came in, OU had the hurry-up offense. They never even covered us pretty much the whole first half. Not going to happen this week. I don't expect to see that. I don't expect to see the Chinese fire drill out of Florida State this week. So they're going to be prepared. Mark Stoops, Bob's little brother, will have the defense prepared. And I think it's going to be a pretty good ball game. But I think in the end that E.J. Manuel is just not going to cut it. I think that the OU's defense is going to be all over him. I expect him to either fumble a couple times or throw a couple picks. I think Florida State, their best bet would be is if they can run the ball at all on OU with EJ, maybe in a zone read situation, and keep OU's offense off the field as much as possible. But they always a misnomer. You got to keep the other team offense off the field. No, what Florida State has to do is have long drives. And they got to cash in. They're going to have to get 7 points, not 3 points. Now they have a great kicker, so I don't expect them to be missing field goals once they get inside the 30-yard line. If I had to nail down a prediction at this moment, this is early in the week, I would say OU is going to win something like 33-20. 33-20. I may change that for my prediction on the board, but right now I see about a 33-20 game. It's a challenge, but you know what? If we're going to be the number 1 team in the nation, we need to rise up. We need to take on these challenges and win. Alabama last week, we said Alabama was an upset alert at Penn State. Alabama went up there and took care of business. They beat Penn State pretty handedly, and they're the number 2 team in the country. LSU, I think they're going to be playing Mississippi State this week. I think they'll handle Mississippi State. They're the number 3 team. After that, it's a hodgepodge of teams. Boise State has an interesting game. They're playing at Toledo this week. At Toledo, Toledo gave Ohio State a scare, but I'm not sure how good Ohio State is without the suspended players. In fact, I think Ohio State's probably going to get beat by Miami, and I'd hate to see that. I'll be rooting for Ohio State, but I have a feeling that Miami's going to take care of business. Thug U is going to end up winning that game as much as I don't want them to win. Another big game is UCLA and the Longhorns. You know what? Rick Neuheisel, as much as you may think he's a weasel and so forth, I got to be honest, people, he's a friend of mine. Him and I were roommates on a USA All-Star baseball team. He did try to weasel me out of the MVP trophy. That's a story for another day, but I ended up getting the trophy anyway. I think Rick is going to take care of business this week. I think they're going to show Texas what can really happen when you scheme for the gimmicky offense of Colt, Ash, McCoy, and all that crap. I have a feeling the UCLA is going to thump them again. I mean, last year it was 34-12. It could get out of hand again. I expect something like a 37-17 game, and UCLA just hammers them. Even though UCLA is an average team, I just don't think Texas is really that good. And then they got a week off, and then they'll go to Iowa State. And Iowa State's got a pretty good defense and some good linebackers. And I like what they're doing on offense. So Texas is going to be in for a rough patch before they play OU. I expect them to drop the next 2 games coming into the Red River Shootout, and then I expect us to smoke them. But we'll talk about that later. So back to the Florida State-Oklahoma game. Landry Jones and the whole road game, we don't play well on the road. I mean, if that hadn't been drilled in this team over and over and over again, I have a feeling that OU's coming in with a chip on its shoulder. Even though we did beat Oklahoma State on the road, we were down 17-0 to Nebraska in the championship game, and we came back and won that ball game. We took care of business in the BCS Bowl. So I have a feeling that OU came alive. After they lost that game against A&M, OU started getting a different attitude. And I don't think that OU was as good as OU became when OU beat them 47-17. I think that's one of the things that they're overlooking. Yeah, Florida State's better, But that OU team that played Florida State on that day was not the same OU team that smoked them. I mean, that came back later in the season and grew up and became really a number one team. And so I think that's what some people might be overlooking that. As far as the defense goes, yes, missing Austin Box and Travis Lewis. Doesn't look like Travis Lewis is going to make it back this week. He tried. It looks like he'll be back next week against Missouri, which will be helpful because you know what? Even though Missouri lost Arizona State last week, I think Missouri is actually a pretty solid team. Now, not completely sold on Franklin and so forth, but he looks like a strong quarterback that's learning. So it would be nice to have Travis Lewis back for number 38 at home, because as all of us Sooners know, we really want that home winning streak. And Miami is the team that has that right now at 58. And we know that if OU wins every game this year, 2012, 2013, by the time we hit 2014, but you know what, wait a second, I just thought about this. With all this conference realignment talk going on, OU's home schedule is going to change up a bit. And we're not going to have that. It's possible that we're not going to be playing Texas in the Cotton Bowl. I know some people say that's heresy, but if that happens, then that we're going to have a pretty tough team coming in that we normally wouldn't be playing in a neutral site, whether it's going to be in Oregon or USC and so forth. And we will pick up an extra home game. So there's a chance that we may catch that record quicker than the last game of the 2014 season. And what do I think of all the realignment talk? I think that whatever we do, that in 2 or 3 years when the super conferences come, there's going to be there could be more change up. So even if we don't like being in the Pac-10, we can switch it and do something else. Obviously, the Longhorn Network in Texas has totally screwed the pooch on this. They totally botched what they were supposed to be doing, and they basically ruined the Big 12. They ruined the Southwest Conference. It looks like they're going to head to the ACC because they're too scared to play in the SEC, and they don't want to follow OU to the Pac-10 because I don't blame them. OU owns them in this conference. And so, let's think about that. People are worried about where OU is going to head up, and whether it's the SEC. It looks like it's going to be the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 or whatever it is. Let's put it this way. In 1996, OU joined the Big 12. We hired Blake the Mistake. Nebraska had won back-to-back national championships. Texas won the first Big 12 conference crown. Oklahoma didn't even make a bowl game in that year. 1997, Nebraska wins another national championship. Kansas State's emerges. 98, Kansas State plays Texas A&M for the conference championship. OU is still not even going to a bowl game. By the time we hire Bob Stoops in 99, we are so far behind Kansas State, A&M, Texas, and Nebraska in the conference that we're not even on the radar. So with that in mind, what does Oklahoma do? Oklahoma goes on a run where we end up winning 7 conference championships. We play for 8 in the next in Bob Stoops' tenure. So just because we started off slow in the conference, we ended up taking over the conference anyway. Same thing will happen if we join the Pac-10. Same thing will happen even in the Southeastern Conference. And next year we're going to be joining in a lot better shape than we were in 1996. Thing is, Oklahoma football is about championships. And we're not about 10-win seasons like down in Austin with Mac Brown. We're not about, just get to a BCS bowl. We're about hardware. We're about winning the conference championship, whatever conference we're in. And if it's the SEC or the Pac-10, whichever conference it is, our goal will be to win that conference championship. So tomorrow, Saturday, not tomorrow, jeez, I'm already ahead of myself. Saturday, the big game. We'll all be watching. Boomer Sooner. But this is why we're Sooner fans. Win or lose, we want to be in these kind of games. They knock Bob because he doesn't always win the big games. But you know what? Nobody's played in more big games than Bob Stoops has during his tenure. Not Mac Brown, no one. And so we welcome this. We embrace being in these kind of games. We embrace being number one. If we lose this game, it's not because we were ranked number one. We lose this game because we got outplayed, period. We got outcoached. Whatever it is, we make no excuses. We pick up our bags and so forth and move on. Yet, we win this game. We prove we're number one. It's a marquee game that we have on our resume for the rest of the season. We got to pick right up, though, because Missouri is going to be a pretty tough game the next week. So with that, let's all be rooting like hell for the Sooners this coming Saturday night. It's going to be a big game, all the attention. Lee Corso